All right, we got the front end buttoned up, got the wheels back on it. We are going to flip this thing around, start working on the back end, planning on it taking a little bit, so we're gonna try to make it a semi-permanent situation here. So we'll do a little rearranging of the shop, flip it around, and then start getting this back end for apart. All right, Kyle, tell us what we got going on.
What's the plan?
All right, Kyle.
I got a witty.
All right. All right, Kyle, what's the plan?
The plan. We have a plan. We do have a plan. It's ever changing though. Back end, we're going on it. We have to stretch this thing roughly about here is going to be our new axle center line. I'm not exactly sure where. I haven't got my notes in front of me, but planning on doing just a simple parallel 4-link. Watts link to locate it, bag over axle. We are going to be hauling quite a bit of weight, so we need that. Probably going to have either a custom drive shaft or even possibly even a third drive shaft built. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it, but for the time being, we're going to get this stripped down. I'm going to consult my top secret notes, figure out our new wheelbase, start giving me some measurements to cut some bracketry and link bars, and I mean, in like 5 minutes, y'all are going to see this thing done. So, magic of cinema.
That's when you know they have pressure on it.
There's a little bit of pressure on that one.
Yep.
Very few things in life that can't be solved with a BFH, you know. So there's several ways of taking these stock rivets out of these frames. A lot of people will just grind the heads off and then punch them through. If you got an air hammer, it's pretty handy to do it that way. Some people will just drill through the entire rivet, the whole diameter, take it out that way. I prefer using the plasma cutter. Just kind of snip the head off and then punch it through. In all my years of doing this, I've kind of come up with a little trick, I guess you call it, theory, trick, I don't know. I like to keep one of these tips around that's wore out. You'll notice over time as these things won't cut straight, they'll start cutting crooked. I like to keep one or two of those around because you can actually position that in the gun to point a certain way, and when you're snipping these rivets off, you can put your gun right up against the side of the frame, and if you've got it pointing away from the frame, it'll just cut that rivet off smooth as butter. So I'm gonna keep going on this, get all the unnecessary bracketry out of our way, try to get some of these pushed out through here. Some of them are kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time, but I will prevail in the end. That was that one hit I was talking about.
Why didn't you do that the first time?
So now that we got all the cross members and unnecessary bracketry out of the way, I'm gonna spend some time back here. I'm gonna get me a new wheelbase measurement, gonna work on squaring that up, just getting a good datum line to work off of, and start planning out this back end. So while I'm doing that, I think Andrew's gonna work on this front floor section, get all this unnecessary floor cut down to the actual size that we're gonna need. Scrap pile getting big.
All right, we're gonna come back here just off this cross member about 3 inches. This is gonna be our tentative back wall of our cabin. Make it just wide enough that we can put a wraparound couch back here. We're gonna move the entryway door up to just behind the passenger seat. But yeah, fixing to cut this, get the rest of this decking off here, assess the rest of it, see if we need to replace it, and then move forward.
So got my notches cut, back over here at the shop. What I'm gonna do now is spend a little time grinding my bevels into them, getting them ready to weld. It's important on this thick wall tubing that you prep it properly, otherwise the weld just doesn't hold. So I'm gonna grind my bevels into it, lay everything out. I'm probably gonna pull about a 1/16 gap anyway on top of the bevels. That way I know my weld burns completely all the way through. So that's the job for now, is get the notches prepped, get them in, and then we'll start squaring up our measurements on the frame and hopefully have a set of notches in this thing by the end of the day. So I'm gonna get that welded up, get it squared up in the chassis, and get going on that thing. Got one small problem though this morning is forgot my welding hood at the shop. So that means I gotta wear your welding hood.
No, that's okay.
Is it? I don't know how other people are with people's welding hoods, but it's for me, it's like bad juju, wear someone else's hood. It's kind of like wearing someone else's underwear. It's just, yeah, you can do it, but you don't really feel good about doing it. So,
There's a lot of sweat in there, you know?
hell yeah. But see, that's the thing, it's your sweat.
Right.
My hood's just as gross.
Right.
It's just dirty, the hood's black. When I put it on, it leaves a black ring on my forehead, but it's my filth.
Mm.
It's not someone else's filth. And I gotta wear your filth today.
Has a funny smell and
But we must prevail.
carry on.
Carry on. All right, so correction, Andrew's hood is not here. So we gotta go to the office now and go get a hood just so we can weld this thing up. But
Yeah.
it's not a good day. It's not a good day.
Starting off rough.
It's not starting rough. So you can see here I got my pieces laid out. I go ahead and bevel my tubes, but I also include a little bit of a gap in there just to make sure that weld burns in. Got one notch mocked up here, getting ready to tack it in. Did all of our trimming on the frame, cleaning on the inside now. Got the back half locked off that we're not going to need no more. We've dropped a line from the front center line of the axle. Come back here and drawn us a line on the ground, squared it so we know we're good there. We've got our notches hanging from those, plumb, level, in line with the wheelbase. So nothing left to do but to do it. We'll get this one side tacked in, get started on the other side, then we'll work on squaring the notches up and all that stuff, and we'll be moving on to an axle pretty soon. tacked up, squared, plumb, all that good stuff. These are easily the biggest notches I think I've ever built in my life. I mean, I've probably built bigger ones as part of a frame, but never just a standalone notch. So there's that. So we're gonna leave them tacked in just for now, not weld them in quite yet. We're gonna get the rear end rolled over here, get it hung in center. I'm gonna build all my bracketry, start laying out the 4-link. Once we make sure everything jives really good, then we'll go ahead and weld them in. We are holding off on the tail tubes right now because as of now, they will be 2 foot through that wall, and we can't very well do that. Need a bigger shop. Keep telling Andrew.
That's always the problem, you know,
He just
not enough shop.
won't do it, so we're gonna leave them off for probably a while, to be honest with you. We'll probably go ahead and hang we can do everything we need to on the 4-link back here. We can have the watch link on, bag brackets, everything. We'll probably go ahead and start working on the house, to be honest with you, first, getting that framed in. And at some point, when we decide we can no longer bring it in here, we'll put the tail tubes on and build the ramp, all that fun stuff. But till then, we're gonna get that heavier rear end put over here and start on a 4-link, but that'll probably happen tomorrow. Pretty good day today, so sounds like a job for tomorrow.
Sounds good.
So what I'm doing now is getting going on the 4-link bracketry. Got everything designed and cut out over at the shop on the plasma table. Got to clean it up here now with my grinder and drill bits and everything. Having a plasma cutter, plasma table anyway, is an invaluable tool, but they are not known for the cleanest of holes. So what I'm going to do, or what I like to do, is actually undersize the hole a little bit in the drawing or in the kerf offset itself, and then I can drill that out 9/16 with a drill bit. That way you have a, I'm going to be very careful here with my wording, a nice clean hole.
Clean holes. Everyone loves a clean hole.
I mean, I do enjoy a clean hole. But make it to where the bolt fits in the hole very nicely. It's not sloppy. Doesn't start wearing on the bolt prematurely.
Very nice hole.
You're hung up on these holes, ain't you?
Well, I mean, you know, no one wants an oversized, sloppy hole. We need a good, clean, tight hole. Precision. That's what we do here.
I'll allow it. So that is the goal for today. We're going to try to get the 4-link bracketry cleaned up and on it. Maybe even get the axle put up in there, start mocking things. And yeah, just go from there. You know, we may seem like big time YouTubers now, but we still got a little redneck set up here. We ain't got no running water yet, so we need to cool a park down real quick. Muddy ditch works pretty good too. So playing around here with my idea on the lower bag mount slash 4-link bracket. It's kind of one of those situations you've got 10 pounds that got to fit in a 5-pound bag. The problem I'm running into is the bag needs to be a certain distance from where the tire is going to be. Even if you've got an inch in there, you think you're safe, you're not. You go into a parking lot, anything that makes this rear end articulate side to side will cause that tire to come in and rub the upper bag mount. So that's kind of what I'm eyeballing here. So what I'm having to do is I'm having to space out my 4-link bar mount a little bit to get it not in the way of where I want the bag plate at. And these bolts here need to be in a position where they don't hit a bracket. So having to do that, cut me an inside stand mount here. I've got 2 mounts that hold the bag. One is just a standalone stand mount. One is a stand mount with the 4-link bracket in it, and then I've got just a normal axle tab over here that doesn't hold the bag up. So kind of looks goofy, but it's kind of one of those things. It's a necessity is the mother of invention. So this is probably what we're going to be going with. This causes me though to build the 4-link bars about an inch offset. The mounts on the axle will be an inch wider than the mounts on the frame. Not that big of a deal. I'll just have to remember that when I build the bars. So I think this is what we're going to go with. I never know how to wrap these things up. I always kind of just trail off on the ends. So here's more time lapse of me. So we're going to go ahead and run 3,800 pound bags in the back, same as the front. That way, again, just kind of one of those redundancy issues. We only have to carry one extra bag, can fit all 4 corners. But put that up there, you kind of start seeing how this is going to go together. 4-link bar will come off here, go forward. Even smashing this down, it's collapse tight. You see how tall this whole situation is, and that explains why that whole situation has to be so tall. Just big fan of putting the bags over axles on this kind of setup here where you have to have a lot of weight. Just saves a lot of stress on other parts. So gonna get the lowers tacked on real quick and slide this thing up under there and start seeing how this thing looks all put together. Lots of boxes showing up, Andrew.
Yeah, finally starting to get some parts in. Gonna make this thing run a little bit better.
What do you got there?
The usual tune-up stuff, plugs, wires, but we did opt to go with an electric water pump, take some drive off the whole turning assembly. Because we are going to take off the smog pump, we are going to put on a engine-driven compressor to help give the air ride what it needs. So, being that we're going to add some turning restrictive force, E squared, we're taking off some by going to an electric water pump.
Harmony, we call that harmony.
Balance. Yeah, also upgrading the alternator to a little bit higher amperage unit. It's going to help with all that situation.
So also helping with the power situation, I understand we have a set of headers.
Correct.
We have a set of headers, but they're not ideal, is the
Wrong
word we're
set
going
of
to use.
Wrong set of headers was pretty much. I mean, I guess, they do work. But yeah, we're not very keen on the big block situation. That was slightly before our time, even though, we are familiar with it. But I didn't know that there was a difference in head ports. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that there was a round exhaust port and then there was an oval exhaust port or rectangle exhaust port. I was lucky enough to get a set of headers from a buddy of mine, thought everything was good, went ahead and sent them to Cerakote.
Oh, of course you did.
Trying to be, Johnny on the spot, get stuff moving, get them back, figure out by looking up gaskets that there's 2 different kinds, and of course we have the wrong kind. So, do a little research, don't know if it's worth keeping these. I know they're gonna be a little bit restrictive because we got a rectangle port, we have a round piece of pipe, so you're going to lose, a little bit in the corners. I don't know if that's going to be enough to hurt us or not, but I don't know. We're going to make a decision and get back to it on that. But God grief. Well, I'd say if the manifold's that hard to pull out, the header's never going in there.
So I'm going to get started on link bars today. Got our material in finally. Finally got the material in. Let me tell you a story about these link bars. They've been quite the odyssey, if you will. Some weeks ago, we decided we needed to get the material ordered for the link bars. Went and tried to source some 1.5" DOM None of the yards in town stocked it, could really get it for 2 or 3 weeks. Is just going to be a big problem. So Andrew, being the venturist he ever is, jumped on a marketplace and found a yard, scrap yard, secondhand yard. What was that place? It's kind of like a treasure trove of odds and ends. He found a place down in Ponca City. Ponca City had some 1.5" 5/16 wall tubing. Swung down there, got it, grabbed our 3x5 as well for the frame, and brought it back up, brought it to the shop. I tried cutting it and instantly ruined a saw blade on the bandsaw. That stuff was, I don't even know how hard that was, but it was very hard. So we decided to try to use it anyway. Andrew has some connections at a local heat treat shop that said they could anneal it for us. So we went that route, had them annealed, got them back over here. Still busted the weld the second we put any shock to it. So after all that waiting, trying to go around, yada yada, time wasted, we just ended up ordering material and getting it in here now. So after 3 weeks of setbacks, we're finally on to the 4 links now. So hopefully we can get them built today. So gonna go on that. We got our bar ends made up the other day. Even got some spiffy mock bushings made up. I used to sell these on my website some years ago, and now that I needed them again nowadays, I no longer had a set laying around. So Andrew had those machined up as well over at a big shout out to Williams Machine Shop over in Galena, Kansas for helping us out on those and for the attempted annealing. Keep wanting to say heat treat, but it's not heat treat, is it?
Opposite of heat treat.
Opposite of heat treat. I've been corrected several times on that you heat treat something to make it harder, you anneal it to make it softer.
Correct.
Changing the crystalline structure of the
Science.
of the
Most of the
carbon
science.
anatomy of the metal. It didn't work out for us, so we're just going to go this route. So I'm going to go on that. Hopefully have a rear end swinging by the end of the day. Etch the smallest numbers physically possible with a laser, and that will be sufficient. I gotta wonder why drill manufacturers label drill bits, but label them in such a way that they can't be read. Get your shit together.
All right, while Kyle's working on finishing up the 4-link, I'm gonna be up front. I picked up some valve covers, picked up some headers, some other odds and ends. We got everything off the front of the motor to help figure out a spot where we can put this engine driven. Got everything painted, just gonna get it all back together and everything finished, done, looking good. Get rid of the rest of the mount shit up front. Trying to clean everything up so we know this is finished up, 100% done, ready to move on to the next step. That's what I'm doing now.
A lot of stuff missing right here. What happened there?
So got rid of the alternator, got rid of the smog pump for sure, but needed to make room to figure out where we're gonna put this engine-driven compressor. Kyle had a great idea to combine the alternator with the engine-driven compressor mount so we can utilize some of the same holes on the head to mount it all up, get it all working. We're gonna test that out today, make sure everything's in line and everything looks like it's gonna go back together. So, also gonna put some electric fans on the front. Try to take a little bit less stress off the motor so we use those HPs for pulling whatever we're gonna be pulling.
A little less stress, more power is what you're saying.
You know, men, we want a job done right and we want it done quick. What do we need?
More power, more horsepower. Got to get everything we can out of this old 454. So,
Yep.
All right, here's the bracket that we came up. Here's the bracket Kyle came up with, based loosely on,
Chinese alternator bracket. He just redid this, brought this up, gave us a plate to mount the engine-driven compressor, which is just a York 210, nothing fancy. Been used for years, but this is what we got. We're gonna take this back apart, get the bracket on the motor, set the other pieces on here, make sure it all jives with the existing belt system, and we should be rocking and rolling, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So this is what we started with, Chinesium aluminum. This was a generic eBay or Amazon alternator bracket, big block, long water pump, nothing out of the ordinary. And this is Kyle, like I said, re-engineered it, made it, gave us the same mounting point, but also to mount the engine-driven compressor. You know, sometimes simplicity is best. You know, try to make it as compact as possible. Don't want a lot of unnecessary nuts and bolts. If we can put 2-for-1 specials on, you know, so be it. But yep, here's what we got. We're gonna double check, make sure it all fits, and like I said, hopefully we can get this, at least this part knocked out today.
So momentous occasion here. We're getting ready to cut the tacks on our rear end here and see it swing on its own on its forelink for the first time. Been a long time coming. Let's just say that. About 2 months. A couple setbacks here and there, a couple weekends off, but the important part is we're here.
Kyle, what was your safety protection?
Huh?
Safety protection.
I was squinting, don't worry.
Like,
We're taking bets on should it work or just everything falls apart on the floor.
oh, I'm 100% confident. It's gonna work flawlessly. Not gonna get into a bind.
That's the idea. It's the hope.
It's all just tacked, right?
Something's still holding it there. Oh, it's on jack stands.
Ah,
You gotta move the jack stands.
classic.
Classic Kyle. Huh. That Kyle. There she is. Well, I couldn't have put this in a worse spot, you know.
Yeah, why the hell did you put that there?
No. Going to do a parallel, as you can see, we're going to do a parallel 4-link, Watts link to locate side to side. We, in the past, I've always built the Watts link kind of out of a tubular or plate removable cross member, and then just uses a normal like polyurethane bar end for the center pivot. It's not really ideal to use a polyurethane pivot. It needs to be a bearing. So instead of digging through catalog after catalog and probably spending way more money than we should trying to get a bearing, machine a housing for it and everything, we ended up just getting a Watts link center crank out of a, what is it, like Dodge Durango or something you got?
Something like that.
Something like that. It's not, it looks way bigger in the picture. When we get it in real life, it didn't seem.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. We get it here in real life and it's not as beefy as I'd like to go on a gigantic car hauler, but I mean, it's cast iron bearings. It shouldn't really matter too much. We'll get it put on there, get it built, and if we just don't like it, we might find something else, but I'm sure it'll handle any side-to-side movement on this thing.
Hey, fun fact, do you know why they call it a Watts link?
Watts link. Why do they call it a Watts link, Andrew?
Oh, I don't know. I was just,
Oh, you were asking.
yeah, that was an
It
asking
wasn't
thing.
really a fun fact.
I just figured you would know. Like, that would be like a, you know, random piece of information. Like,
Probably the guy that came up with
yeah,
it.
Philip Watts.
Philip Watts, yeah.
I completely made that up. I don't know if Philip's Watts.
It may have been an invention out of necessity. It might have been an invention out of calamity. I know that if you invent something great enough or screw up something bad enough, they name the part after you. I mean, Richard Petty damn near died in a NASCAR race, and there is a bar in the back called a Petty bar that keeps the cage from crushing in on you. So
I'm gonna have to look that up. If it was really Philip Watts, I would be, I mean, that was completely luck.
if it turns out that it's Philip Watts that invented the the Watts link, yeah, I'll eat the Watts link.
Who the fuck could eat a Watt link?
It's cast iron.
I really hope it's not Philip Watts. I said that on camera. It's out there now on the internet. I got to do it if it is Philip Watts.
5.
So little fabrication tip for some of you guys. I see a lot of people do this. We're getting ready to set the upper bag mount up. A lot of people would just find your center line of the lower bag mount, find your center line of the upper, and put it on there. One thing you got to remember is the rear axle is going to move from forward to back throughout its range of motion in the bars. Right now, it's as far forward as it's going to be, and when these bars become parallel with the ground at ride height, it's going to be as far back as it's going to be. That measurement on this ride is a 1/2 inch. The axle will move back about a 1/2 inch in its range of motion. So if you were to set the bag plate up straight over each other at full extension, the bottom is going to be a 1/2 inch back from the back. Said that wrong.
Science.
The bottom is going to be 1/2 inch back from the top. So what I like to do is actually split that difference and move the bag plate back a 1/4 inch. That way, laid out, it's a 1/4 inch, but it's happier through its whole range of motion. It's kind of like everything else you set up. You don't want your bars to be all the time pointing down or up, because it's not conducive to a good working 4-lane. Same on the Watts Link bars. Everything needs to be halfway through its range of motion at ride height. That's kind of what you want to shoot for. So just something I see a lot of people kind of overlook. Real simple thing to overlook, but it's a real simple thing to just do. Just set that back happy medium halfway through its range of motion. Good to go. Rear shocks, we are going to be once again utilizing factory rear shocks. It's got about a 9.5 inch stroke, which coincidentally is also the bag stroke. So I redesigned the lower link bar mounts. We used to just have a single standalone link bar mount. I went ahead and redrew it, including the shock mount. I'm gonna move them to the rear here. 1-to-1 ratio, like I said, the stroke matches the bag, so works out pretty good. Went ahead and made me a little pedestal standoff. I don't know what you'd call this. Typically, 1/2-ton trucks, stuff like that, I would go with just like a stud, maybe a little gusset on the back. But this thing being big, heavy, a lot of weight rolling around, I went ahead and made this double shear load. Always a little better than single shear load. So got that mocked up. I'm gonna set it at 14 inches compressed, which is what our shock is. Should give us our setup. Got shock put in, upper mount tacked on. Lower mount is a 3/4 drill bit because we have no 3/4 inch bolts here at the moment that length, so it will work for now. Let's see what this thing does. Full bump. Full droop. Just enough clearance. It's close, not too close. That's where we like them. So that'll work. Now that I know that'll work over here, should work over there. On to over there now. I've got my little gusset here made. I know a lot of you have been looking at this video going, man, that ain't strong. You need to put a gusset in there. Got a gusset made here. Slide her in place, weld her up after I get some of this paint removed off the frame. Should be beefed in. The thing I really like about this too is this, coincidentally, the section of the frame from here to here is double frame rail from the factory. So we got that going for us too. We're going on the Watts Link next. This is one we prepared earlier, as they would say. Went over to the shop, cut this out on the table, 1/2 inch thick steel, made me like a little cage. We're gonna go with I believe this was off of a Dodge Durango of some sort. Little Watts Link center pivot bell crank. I don't know what you'd really call it. It's got a sealed bearing inside of it instead of a bushing, which I kind of dig. Just needs to be a bearing application. So made me a little cage. Assembles thusly. Fits. Got my tabs. Put that on the rear end so it locates that, and then we'll build our link bars accordingly off that. Have the rear end located, bagged, shocked, linked. We're almost done with the back end on this thing. We can start moving on to the body.
Can't wait till we move on to the body.
That's the biggest thing we're doing is all this is just kind of, I mean, I dig bagging stuff and everything, but we get to really building the body off this thing. That's what we're all looking forward to. Go out there and cut the nose off that Winnebago. I think we're just gonna use from the A-pillars forward on that thing. Everything else will get scratch built, and then we'll probably have a sheet metal company mimic the factory skin to it and reskin it all. And hell, we'll be hauling cars like, what, 2-3 weeks, you think?
Ish. Probably some ish in there.
Next year. So getting going on the Watts link here, got the mount, truss, bridge. I don't know the technical word for that part, but that part's on there. We got our crank, we got our heims. We're gonna start setting everything up. Few ways of doing this. One way is more so right than others. One of those deals that a bunch of people on the internet's gonna argue with me about how I'm doing this, but this is how I do it. I set the ride height up, which is halfway through your stroke. Bell crank straight through on its pivot, and then all your bars will be level. So we got our little 5/8 heims here, got our bolts in it. We'll measure it from the ground level, find our spot on the frame, got our little tabs cut, nothing fancy. Weld those on, build some bars, which we may or may not have the tubing for now that I think about it. It's always a problem. But do all that, get her set up. Andrew's brought up a good point. Another one of those just personal things that I like to do when setting up for your overall bar lengths and everything. I like to set these things basically, I want where the bung and the jam nut mate, I want it halfway on the threads. Because once you put that jam nut on there, it's gonna take threads up this way, but you still have your adjust. I want the most amount of threads in the bung, but still have my adjustability, so that's what I do. Gives me a 13-inch bar, take out what we need here, 2.5 back to the threads, or to the chamfer, I guess you'd call it. Gives us an 8-inch actual tube that I need. So I'll get over on the bandsaw, cut me a couple 8-inch pieces of tubing and throw some bars together, have this thing located. We need like a new slogan for like when it's time to end the clip. I always feel we say what we're gonna do, then just repeat, okay, now let's do what we're gonna do. So let's fucking go. I have to edit that one out. I have to do a lot of censoring on that one. I don't like that one.
Now it's time to get to work.
Now it's time to get to work.
There we go. That's gonna be our new motto. What is that that they say on Letterkenny?
To infinity and beyond.
No, that's not it.
No, that's not it. Pitter patter, let's get at her. To infinity and beyond. Onward and upward. Let's go.
You got them all.
You're covering most of this stupidity very well. Look at that. First time, all 4 corners on air, holding itself up. Let's see her laid out. she is. That's mostly done at this point. We got another shock on order we got to get here. Of course, there's some few things to nut and bolt, extend the back frame. For the most part, suspension's done. We'll button up the drive shaft, probably take a trip up to Pittsburgh, have y'all meet a old friend that's gonna take care of that. Andrew's got a few things to button up on the motor. Other than that, next time you see us, we should be starting the body of this thing. That's really what we've been looking forward to. Got the old Winnebago out there just waiting to get cut up. We'll cut the nose off of it, start executing the plan. Yeah, start going up now instead of down. So we done our part. Andrew, what should the viewers do?
Like and subscribe.
Comment.
So whatever you do, don't tell them about the shirts yet.
So you're saying don't talk about the shirts that we may or may not have for sale.
Right.
Sideshow shirts may or may not be available.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for this episode. See you next time when we start on the house.